Libra, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well. I just saw a card flip over as I was shuffling. Let's see what card that was. Oh, it's Thinker. So you might need to shift your perspective on something. The way you're thinking about something might not be serving you this week, Libra. Let's have a look. What's the energy around Libra this week? Poised. Okay, we see To the Sea, we see Unfinished Symphony, and this card looked like it wanted to flip over too. So we've got Go the Distance. Got Go the Distance here with Poised and Thinker. Bottom of the deck is, you got a lot of cards in the 40s. You've got card 43, card 44, card 47, and 48. So that's interesting to me because I always think when we see cards that in a very well shuffled deck that are coming out in sequence like that, that you're on the path of something that's moving rather quickly right now in the present moment. There's something shifting around you that involves the way you're thinking about something, feeling confident to go the distance and continue moving towards something that you have a deep knowing about that could be bringing closure to something and also allowing you to sort of release control and letting yourself go with the flow on things. Instead of trying to overly control something, I feel like you feel hesitant to make a move and be bold. I feel like you're holding yourself back and you're denying a deep knowing that you have that something could be possible if you just kept working on it. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of wands in your reading, wands and swords and cups. It's interesting. It's all over. It's affecting you in sort of all over. You know, it's hitting you in terms of all of your senses and your different parts of yourself. Like it's hitting your emotional body, your mental body, your will, and you know, who knows, perhaps we'll see some pentacles too if this is impacting your sense of security and your sense of identity and your maybe even your work-life balance. Let's see. Libra. Okay, Three of Swords in reverse coming out. Let's get the first row out. There's the Five of Pentacles. Those are your setbacks turning around. And look at that, you got the 5 and the 6 of Wands coming out together. Okay, in a very well shuffled deck. I've been reading all day. So you've got this very interesting first row coming out here. And it's sort of showing me here that there may be some battles that aren't worth fighting over. And that the way you're thinking about things could be keeping you stuck, Libra. The way you're thinking about things could be keeping you stuck, and that there's almost this need to rise above certain things and shift how you're looking at them. And there's other things that need to be brought to closure. And you have a deep knowing that you can't keep moving in this one direction and be successful. I feel like there's a part of you here that needs to shift your own thinking. And then there's a part of you that also needs to trust your gut instincts, your intuitive knowings, that certain things need to shift, certain chapters need to be brought to a close. And you might be resisting that and hanging on instead, not accepting that certain things need to sort of come to a close, is keeping you feeling stuck. And when I see those wands coming through here for you, it makes me feel like you're almost willfully hanging on to things that you know don't serve you anymore, because I kind of feel like you have this opportunity to sort of move through something in a different way, but you're resisting that opportunity. And instead, you're sort of hanging on to some resentments and some feelings of failure and pessimism, and that resentment is causing a lot of self-doubt. And yet you have this deep knowing that I think you're sort of ignoring because of the self-doubt and because of this pessimism that's creeping in. And yet that Five of Pentacles in reverse tells me that everything is turning around for you. If you can sort of shift your own perspective about things, you'll be able to turn things around. And that instead of feeling helpless and like a victim, you can move ahead. And that this idea of having low self-worth is actually in response to something outside of yourself. It's like you're seeking validation and you're not finding it with the Six of Wands. And so when you're not finding that validation, it's like you're internalizing it to saying, well, I guess that means I'm worthless. I guess nobody cares about me. And if anything, I was going to say that strong. I was going to say nobody gives a shit. Like you're taking something from the external world that's not giving you the reflection that you desire, and it's breaking your heart every day, Libra. It's breaking your heart every day. And it's this ongoing struggle that you're facing, and it's like there is a cycle that just needs to be let go of. This unfinished symphony may need to come to an end. And I feel like you're resisting that, even though deep down you know that to be the case. You know that to be the truth. But it's like you want to see it transform instead. You know, it's like you're saying to yourself, well, why can't the status quo just change to be more in alignment with my needs? Well, it might be where you're in a situation that it is where it is. You know, that's where that situation, that's where it is. And it's up to you to change where you are. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like you want the situation to change, but really what needs to change is you, in the sense of you need to follow your gut. You need to accept where you feel guided to go, instead of sort of fighting against something you can't control. We can't control how the external world receives us and sees us, but I feel like you're really taking it to heart. You're taking it to heart here. And it's almost like this unfinished symphony is sort of casting a shadow over you, reminding you that by procrastinating on things that you have a deep knowing about, you're sabotaging yourself. And that it's not really about this other energy in the external world not doing or giving you what you deserve. It's almost like you're not giving yourself what you deserve. There's a big shift in perspective required here to increase your confidence so that you feel ready to make some changes here, my dear Libra. I feel like you're being called up to make some big changes here, and you're resisting it. You're not going with the flow. You're not recognizing the pattern here. There is a pattern here that when external conditions appear to be blocking you, then like this to the sea card, you must be like the water in the ocean and sort of flow with the natural cycles instead of trying to change the ocean itself. Do you know what like for example, if there's a huge rock or a big boulder in the ocean, the ocean, the water goes around it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't stop and say, well, I'm not moving until this thing in front of me moves. The water just flows around it, or it goes over it, or eventually it'll go through it, you know, with enough time. Like the water erosion created the Grand Canyon, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? Like water can be very powerful when it is allowed to just flow. And I feel like you're not in that flow right now. There's resistance. There's fighting against a situation, trying to change something that's not changeable because it's outside of your control. You can't change this. This is what it is. You can only change yourself. And I feel like right now it's time to sort of trust that deep knowing. Trust that deep knowing that it's guiding you towards something that is for you, instead of trying to fight against this. And then there's also this idea of like, are you enduring something because you just have been for so long? So you're like, well, I'll just keep enduring it, I guess, because I've been enduring it forever. That's what this card in reverse is sort of giving me, is that you've just been enduring something for so long. Sorry, I can't get my words out. You've been enduring something for so long that you just feel like that's the status quo now. But it almost feels like that all needs to go out the window, and I feel like you have a deep knowing about that, but you're not acting on it because you've got a lot of like thoughts and beliefs that are saying self-doubt, low self-esteem, helpless, victim, worthless, and as a result you're procrastinating on whatever this deep knowing is about this unfinished symphony. And I get it. I mean, I get it, but I feel like you're denying yourself the opportunity to have a transformation here. Something is trying to shift in your life and you're not letting it. It's like you feel suffocated by the status quo, but you also don't want to let it go. That's very intriguing. There must be, like you're losing faith in your ability to trust yourself. You're doubting yourself, significant doubts here. You don't feel like you can have what you desire. But I think you can. It's just not in the space that you're holding right now. Like not the way you're doing it. No, you're trying to change something that you don't have control over so that everything can stay the same, but be more fulfilling. And it's like, no. This has something to do with a relationship for some of you. This has to do with a partnership that is just constantly challenging you. And I almost feel like for some of you, this Two of Cups represents you wanting just to be able to see eye to eye with someone, and that would solve everything. If you and this person could just come together. I feel like you feel like that would solve everything. But again, that person could be the element of the external world that you can't control. They are who they are, and they're only going to change if they can change and they want to change, and if they feel the desire to change. But I feel like waiting on that change is sort of, every day that you wait for that to change, you lose a little bit of yourself, Libra. Yeah. You have a lot of unmet desires here. You feel very dissatisfied in this connection. There's your Two of Cups with the Nine of Cups in reverse. And I feel like you're starting to give up hope that this is going to shift. And, I almost feel like, without sounding cruel, I almost feel like that's not a bad thing. That if you're starting to give up hope that this situation will change, perhaps that will motivate you to do something different. Perhaps. Sometimes we need to get to a place where we feel like, oh my God, nothing's ever going to change here. This is hopeless. Because then you might start trusting yourself and going with the flow of that. And if that means that things have to change, then things have to change. It's interesting. Let's get one more card for each side of this reading. It's interesting. Yeah, there's the Knight of Swords. So you're being guided to move swiftly here. Go the distance. Move swiftly towards what you desire. Let this change happen. Let this change happen. Let this change happen. Don't deny it for yourself anymore. Yeah. As above, so below, Libra. So whatever it is that you believe in your mind is what you're going to see in your experience. And I feel like right now something has come to a completion, but you're not able to release it. for there could be lots of reasons, because this is a general reading. There could be so many reasons why you're not able to let this go, but there's something here that has reached a point of completion, and it needs closure. It needs closure. There's an unfinished task here, and it's depleting you every day you hang on to it, because I think deep down inside this needs to come to a close. We see it here in the World and the Unfinished Symphony card. And it's scattering your energy, and you feel so disoriented. There's unused potential. You're not tapping into the full spectrum of your potential because you're sitting in an energy that's blocked. Your inner guidance system is telling you something has come to completion, and you're like, no, I'm going to stay here and it's going to change. Well, I don't think it is going to change. It's outside of your control, and it is what it is. This is very interesting reading, Libra. I'm going to leave it at that. A lot of food for thought if this resonated for you, to sort of take action on where you feel guided to take action without sort of trying to change something you don't have control over, instead of changing what you do have control over, which is you and how you react and respond to something, or whether or not you're present anymore in a situation. Like for some of you, if this involves a relationship, it almost feels like by staying in the relationship, whatever you're not changing, you're choosing, Libra. I'll leave it there. I don't want to get too lectury. But, this reading is giving me that vibe of like, whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. And if it's outside of your control to change it, the only thing you do have control over is whether or not you go the distance or you exit. Or if you can find a way to shift your perspective about it. But I almost think that's not it. It's not about changing your perspective so that you stay. I feel like it's bringing closure to something that you just know doesn't work for you anymore. And for some of you, it's a relationship. And for some of you, it's just a cycle that has come to completion. And you're looking at yourself in the Two of Cups. You're looking at yourself eye to eye and saying, we're not satisfied anymore. We've got to shift from within to see a shift in the external. Very interesting. I'm going to leave it at that, Libra. I'm sending you so much love and light. I hope that this has been helpful. If it has resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. If you're looking for a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. And as always, my dear friends, I look forward to reading for you again. So much love and light to you this week, Libra. You got this. You got this. Just be the water. Be like the water and go with the flow. Transform. Don't stay blocked. Don't stagnate any longer or procrastinate on where you feel guided to go. Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm sorry. Keep going. Okay, we'll see you next week, Libra. Take care. Sending you so much love.